between different constituencies and governments, and a good precedent for continuing this collaboration in the future. Thank you.
Understand the current situation of nuclear weapon-free zone, and we also felt the passion about nuclear weapon-free zone of Northeast Asia. Yes, thank you, Alan. Yes, and our next speaker is Robert Harvey. Yeah, he will he will give us how mayors can boost a nuclear weapon-free zone. Please let us listen to your wisdom and experience.
Thank you. Ka tangi te titi, ka tangi te kaka, ka tangi hokia o te he Māori ora. Ina mana, ina reo, ina iwi, ro ranga tera mā, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Good morning. I am Robert Harvey. I'm the Mayor of Waitakere. I bring you the greetings of the Māori people of Aotearoa, New Zealand. I just greeted you in a mihi mihi, which is a word of warmth and greetings to each and every one of you from my heart. I would just like to tell you that I have been the mayor for 18 years of Waitakere, which is a peace city since 1983. And I have to say, dear friends and colleagues, I'm a little guilty in a way, because New Zealand is totally nuclear free. And the fact is that since 1984, I was one of the architects to help the Longi government to bring in a nuclear-free country. It has remained that way to this year, to this time, and will continue. Let me just read quickly something to you which may impress, I hope. 93% of all New Zealanders agree to remain nuclear-free. 73 of the 84 mayors of New Zealand endorsed the Mayors for Peace and a nuclear-free country. This is embarrassing how overwhelming supportive it is to a nuclear-free zone. And the most important is our government. Last month, John Key talked to President Obama, who warmly congratulated the Prime Minister on our country's long anti-nuclear stand. I thought that that was a major breakthrough, because when we became nuclear free in 1984, certainly the Congress of this country decided that we were enemies of the state and we should be marginalised in our trade dealings, which have been very crippling. That didn't eventuate, but it has been very hard and takes a lot of courage when your country totally stands up as nuclear free. No ships. I was a protester against the nuclear ships in the harbour in my little kayaking going out. I can't tell you how big those nuclear subs are. I'm sure Robert Green over here will tell you. But when you paddle out and it's as big as it's as big as the United Nations, you realise that if you have to try and jump on that, which we did, it's a very difficult job to do. But that's what peace activists is. And now as mayor here, I greet you all with warmth and sincerity. I'd like to acknowledge the two mayors of Nagasaki and of course Hiroshima for their courage and leadership. I can't tell you, and the other mayors that have spoken this morning. This takes in leadership, and that's what Mayors for Peace is about. It is mayors talking to mayors, and I really appreciate it, how we have power with our sister cities to talk. I have a personal mission because my city has a relationship with China. I have been given a citizenship of China in a city called Kakogawa. I'm going there next month to ask them to become the first Chinese nuclear-free city. That's Kakogawa. Galway in Ireland is our other sister city who's agreed to become nuclear-free and Mayors for Peace. And Huntington Beach, which is here, has proved to be the most difficult. Mayors for Peace is the glue which will make this work. It's in its infancy right now. We only have about 4,000. We'll soon go to 5. We'll soon go to 10. Mayors for Peace will be the glue in the next decade, which will help the 2020 objective set by Hiroshima to actually work. I am very concerned about indigenous people. I led the negotiations and the delegations against French testing. In the 1960s, almost 15 years after Hiroshima, the skies in New Zealand turned orange every summer as the particles from the above-ground nuclear testing by the French affected the atmosphere. And to see your skies in your country an orange glow from about 6 to about 8, as you realize they were testing more above ground. I led that delegation. We had a very difficult time. We've sent 2 frigates and we stopped nuclear testing in the Pacific. The indigenous people of the Pacific, like our friends of the Hibakusha, is still suffering the illness of those fallouts. They are the forgotten people. And I urge you just to remember that indigenous people have suffered as much by testing in Australia, throughout, and the Pacific. That's been my kaupapa, if you like, the Māori word for agenda. I believe that the peace initiatives of mayors are absolutely astonishing. We actually are committed, and our family of mayors are growing by the month. Here, I can't praise you enough to talk in the Northeast Asia. I know it's difficult. I urge you to have courage. I urge you to make your mayors aware, the mayors to government. All mayors will say, it's the best job I've ever had because I can actually do something. Government will tell you it takes time. My God, it takes time. This building is about taking time. Everything here. But mayors can do things quickly. Mayors can do things in a month, which will take governments 5 years. So I believe that if we're going to make peace work, the blessings must start with mayors. That is what I've been doing for 18 years. I'll continue to do that in New Zealand. Even if I'm not the mayor, I'll continue to work for Mayors for Peace. That's my brief history. I have to say it's been a wonderful journey working with 5 governments, each committed to nuclear disarmament and indeed a peaceful world. I'd like to acknowledge my fellow colleague here, the wonderful Alan Ware. We export people. We exported Alan Ware to the world, and Helen Clark, our previous Prime Minister, who's in this building as number 3, a lifelong committed person to nuclear disarmament. So here are 2 people, one in this building and one here. That is what we do best. We export our best and our brightest. I just stay at home, keep the pots going. Kia ora. Kia ora tātou, kia ora to you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Just 1 minute.
Yes.
We also have a tradition in New Zealand when one of our wise people speak, we have to give a little waita.
What are you going to say?
All right. That's easy enough.
Okay, let's go.
E hara e te mea, no nai nei te aroa, no nā te upuna, tuku iho, tuku iho.
Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
Message and song. Yes, I feel like you came here bringing peace for us. Yes, thank you very much, Mihi. Yes. Then next we'll move to next session, and from now on we will listen to NGO's viewpoint of Korea and Japan. And our first speaker is Hee-Sun Kim from Korea, PSPD. Yes, please, Hee-Sun.
Hi, good morning everyone, or maybe good afternoon. Yeah. Louder, yeah.